Okay. Good morning, everybody. And if you're watching on the replay right now, you're going to see I didn't figure out how to make myself into the speaker view. So you're seeing everybody. But good morning. Today is November 30th, last day of the month. It's an exciting, energizing, fun, beautiful day to be alive. And I'm really excited to be with all of you people who brighten my day every day. And, this incredible community that we have. And we're going to talk a little bit about our community today. We're going to talk a little bit about how to leverage this community that we have to get to our goals, how to use the connection to create momentum, to create growth, to create change in our lives and the lives of the people around us that we care about. So this is one of my favorite topics. I love to talk about our community because this community is really, something that I envisioned a long time ago and has really taken on a life of its own. And that I'm extremely grateful to be a part of and to be in a leadership position within this community of so many incredible leaders. And this is really, for me, what my vision of holding this container or supporting, being one of the many supports of this container, is that what we're doing here together is we are modeling leadership. We're modeling leadership for each other, and we're modeling leadership for the people who are coming into our community, and that we're really focused on, for me personally, my focus is on creating or bringing through many, many, many layers and levels of leaders within this community. So when I say that, what I mean is that, and we're going to get into this idea of duplication in a minute. Actually, why don't we start there? So when I say the word duplication, David Skoltedi was touching on this a little bit yesterday. He's like, it doesn't matter if it works, if it doesn't duplicate, right? If it's too complicated, even if it works, if it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't help. So this word duplication, if you've heard this word before, type a 2 in the comments if you're familiar with this concept. And if you haven't, if that word is kind of like, what does that mean? Duplication, is that like what you do with a copy machine? Like, if you haven't heard of this concept in relationship to business, go ahead and type a 3 because I want to see where people are. In relationship to this concept of duplication. Okay, cool. So Dan, yeah, and it's not, it's not necessarily good. That's a great idea, Dan. Consistency, yeah. So there's a lot of different things that come into play with duplication, and I'm just going to open up the lines here for a second, and just to hear, I'd love to hear what your, anyone who has an idea of what this word means in relationship to this business model, in relationship to what we're doing here with Purium, go ahead and jump off mute and share with me your views on duplication. Hey, Brian, what's up, man? Anybody
Hey, Mama.
Hey.
Hi, it's Ashley. Morning. Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here, and I personally am in love with our community and the community that we have, and really the community element here, being able to be in business and in community simultaneously, and to be in a business that really is about creating community. I mean, what a win-win situation if you're a people person or if you're looking to create community, which I know most of us are. So I love it. I love this topic. Thanks so much, Sarah. And for being an incredible example of what duplication is. And so when I think of duplication, what I think is, I think I was told when I first got started with Purium of, what you do in moderation, your teams and everyone else is going to do in excess. And so duplication really being this thing of, if I see Sarah as my upline, if I see Sarah make a post of some sort, chances are I'm going to naturally just replicate what she did a little. I'm going to be inclined to duplicate that. So it's knowing that everything you do by nature, by default, your team, your downline, your prospects coming in, your customers, people are essentially going to duplicate. They're going to do what you did. They're going to follow in that same footsteps. If you're the rabbit and you've run through the meadow, it's knowing that when someone else comes and that next little rabbit comes to run through the meadow, they're going to just take that path that you laid down for them. So if you ran like straight through the meadow, it's going to be a lot easier for them to just like follow that flattened out place. But if you run through the meadow and you're like, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to try this and I'm going to do that, and it's not easy for people to follow, chances are you're not going to have duplication in your business. And so we really want to create duplication in our business, because that's what creates the ability for us to not have to like walk each rabbit through that meadow. We've like laid down the path. We've run that like same little path so clear. We've made it so solid that people can easily just come in and on their own follow that trail of duplication.
Awesome.
So that's, yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. I love that image of the rabbit. Is anybody else feeling that rabbit analogy? It's like, oh yeah, I just want to be able to like run, and everyone else is going to follow me and do exactly what I do, right? Okay, beautiful. Anybody else have any reflections on duplication? What that means to you in your business?
I'd love to jump in here for 1 minute and speak to duplication. For me also is really representative of like setting up a system that other people can easily like plug into it and kind of see and know like how to operate in what's happening in a way that that they can easily, you know, do the same thing and then pass it on to any team that they want to create. So using the tools and just having things that are yeah, just part of a system, like that working wheel. We don't have to reinvent it every time.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Erica. Has anybody joined this business with the desire to create residual income in your life? Okay, awesome. So residual income, basically for me, when I got started with Period, I was like, residual income means I get to make money while I'm sleeping, and while I'm awake, I get to do other stuff with my time besides have to spend it making money, right? I want this money to be, and passive residual income is really the ideal. So residual income is like, I can leverage, I can do something and I can continue to get paid for it while I'm still working. And passive residual income is like, I can completely step back and passively receive money for the rest of my life. And that is, you know, that is the reason that I joined Purium originally, is because I could see that that was something that I wanted to be building a future for myself and for my family that did not involve me and my massage table at age 80 trucking around and working on people, you know, until I maybe, you know, I mean, that I was seeing that future. Or the other avenue that I was kind of haunted by was this idea of like being, you know, seeing elderly people bagging groceries or working at Walmart. You know, that there's so many people in our culture who are aging, who are coming into the end of their life and who don't have a safety net. They don't have an exit strategy. And so for me, when I got started with Pure, I was like, okay, I need an exit strategy. I want to be able to stop working someday, right? So this is passive residual income. So in order to create passive residual income in your life and your business, the only way to do it is through duplication. The only way to do it is through duplication, because if you do not have a system that you're using that duplicates, you are going to be holding people's hands until you're 80 years old. You're going to be doing connect calls. You're going to be, you know, you're going to be doing it. You're going to be like having to be the primary engine in your own business forever. So what duplication does is it allows us to do something, learn how to do it, basically. So when we enter into the system, we first learn how to do something, right? Someone teaches us. We learn how to do it. We start doing it for ourselves. Then we start to teach other people how to do that same simple thing. Duplication is all about simplicity. Very, very simple steps. So I learn something simple. I do it for myself. I start to do it for my team members. They learn from example. They get a little coaching on it too. And then they can go ahead and turn around and do it for themselves and then do it for their team members. Right? So it's this whole process of really creating leadership, of developing leadership, of having a system that people can follow to be able to stand up, not just to be able to share gift cards, which is a big part of it, but also to step into a place within themselves of sovereignty, of being able to run, to own our own business and to own our own life, to create, to be the architect of what it is that we desire to have, right? And so this idea of duplication, of using a system, is very powerful. And we're going to get in, I'm going to have you guys start to chime in a minute again of like things that you use, ways, tools that we have that create duplication. And what I want to really kind of bring in right now is this idea that the culture that we've created, the community that we've created here as a Bliss Ohana, that in many ways has rippled out into the community of the whole company, that this is a huge part of our method of operation here. That it is through marrying people, bonding people to who we are as a community, embracing people. You know, it's like this idea that, you know, a lot of times what I see is people will get really excited. They're like, I'm sharing gift cards. Oh yeah. Like, I'm just like, I've made a post, like all these people are interested. They're like, they're excited. They're purchasing stuff. Maybe they got a launch pack, and I plug them in, I put them into the group, I welcome them, and then I move on to my next person. And I just like enroll my next person, then I enroll my next person. And I'm always like forward focused. But what happens is if we don't water our garden, if we don't take care of the seeds that we just planted, whether they're people who were just exposing to Purium the first time or people who have already purchased and are part of our team, if we don't get in there with them and help them begin to duplicate, if we're just like, okay, phew, right, then there can be like an atrophying that happens, or they can get bored, or they can get frustrated, or they can feel like, oh, you know, maybe this isn't for me after all. And there's this little window of time when we first help somebody find their yes, when they first are like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull out my credit card, or I'm going to have this faith in myself. I'm going to move this mountain. I'm going to make this, I'm going to create something new for myself in my life. I'm going to do something that I have not yet ever done. That creates this little burst of energy, right? It's like this beautiful time in someone's process where they first say yes. And it's like, there's this whole response, there's this whole support that comes in energetically from the outside, from the unseen, really, because it's like, okay, I just did something, I broke through a barrier, I made a decision, I took action on that decision, and there's an opening there, right? There's this little opening that is like, ooh, okay, like possibility. And if we don't get in there with that person, and we're going to talk about this too, there's multiple different ways to get in there with that person. If we don't get in there and lovingly like plug them in and kind of support them, you don't necessarily want to be like, okay, I told you, like, you know, go make, like, send 100 messages and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not necessarily like super directive, but it's more this, and this community, bringing them into the community. If we don't do that right away, they can evaporate. So for me, I'm going to go over this idea of the 5 income producing activities. Okay, there's 5 things that you can do in your business that will directly make you money or support money to come into your business, right? So these 5 income producing activities are prospecting, which means sharing just enough information with somebody for them to say, oh, that sounds interesting, and then stopping talking. Like, prospecting can be like a 10-second experience. Okay, prospecting is our voice. Presenting is when we share the tools with people. So as soon as they've leaned in and they're interested, We stop talking and we said, oh, I'll get you some information on that. I'm going to add you to a Facebook group and send you a video. Let's talk. When's a good time to set up an appointment after that? Right? So the presenting can happen over a long period of time, but it is not, oh my God, I was just thinking about you, brother. Like, I thought this thing Purium, it's so awesome. I just started doing it and it's just amazing. And you know, it's like green food and you like smoothies, don't you? And are you vegan? Dude, we have this protein. It's so great. And you know, you can make money with this. And I know I'd love to work with you as a business partner. It's not like any of those other companies that you've probably heard about because it's so much cooler. It's, you know, it's like blah, blah, blah. That's not presenting. That is word vomiting. That is just like that. You know, that's verbal vomititis. We don't do that. We don't attack people. We don't spew information all over them. We prospect them in a very short, concise way until they lean in, and then we give them tools. And this is part of the duplication process. This is a huge part of the duplication process, because if I go out there and I'm a health practitioner, or I'm an industry leader, or I'm an influencer, and I can just go ahead and sign up anybody and everybody without ever sending them a tool or without ever introducing them to anybody, and I can just basically blink and someone will say, where do I sign? Do you think that that person who I just enrolled is going to have any idea of how to share this with anybody else? If I'm like, hey Alex, this is so great. Do this thing. You're going to love it. And you're like, okay, cool. I really respect you. Like, you're my doctor or whatever. And I just buy the stuff. Is Alex going to have any idea of how to actually turn around and share it? No, because I didn't give him any tools, right? So part of the duplication process is the system of putting them into the Facebook group. Even if you're like, oh, they're going to say yes. It's my mom. She's going to say yes, right? Still do it. Still put them in through the tools, because if you don't do that, then there's not going to be any kind of duplication going forward. So they're not going to be able to replicate what you did. I've had people get signed up by influential practitioners and stuff and be like, well, I really see the vision. I really want to do this as a business, but I'm going to have to spend like probably at least 6 months learning about the products. I want to dive into the research. You know, I want to get deep into this so that I can share it the same way that Rachel shared it with me. Right? So we really want to keep this super simple for them. Very, very, very simple. Share the tools. Yes, Rachel's a great example of that. I'm just reading the comments here from Grace, that we were trained in duplication. Rachel and I were trained by Tracy Fujikani that there is never anything that happens without a connect call, that you never do anything without duplication, without using tools, without using the system, because then if you do it without using the system, you're going to be forced to keep on doing it without using the system forever. You will never create passive residual income. You're going to have just another job where you're going to be sharing products. You're going to be a product salesperson, selling cleanses for the rest of your life. And I don't know, does anybody want to be doing that? Oh, wait, no, we get to help people without having to do a lot here. At the beginning, it takes effort. It takes work. It takes setting up a team. It takes elevating leadership in your team. It takes really getting in there with people and working with them and pacing with them and, you know, forming these relationships. But if you do that work in the beginning and you do it right and you do it well and you do it like deep, those people that you're working with, even if you're, you know, you don't have to even be the one training them. You just have to connect them with your upline. You just have to plug them into masterminds. You just have to get them the information. It's not like you're the one going, okay, I'm going to teach you how to do this. You're connecting them to higher sources of information so that they can step into their leadership. And then like they're off running for Green Diamond and you're like, go. And they're doing all the connect calls for their team, and they're making it all happen, and they're elevating themselves and the people in their team. So the duplication starts with how we are sharing with people. It starts with the very first time we think about the word Purium in relationship to somebody, we're already setting up duplication for them. Because they're learning by example, right? So there's been a few people, like I've seen lots of different things duplicating in different lines at different times. So like what Ashley was saying, what I do in moderation, my team will do in Access, and there tends to be like these flavors of things that duplicate in different lineages, which is cool. It's like everyone has their own genius, and sometimes, you know, it's as we're stepping into leadership, it's really, really awesome to use our the reflection of our business, right? So if I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody in my business is doing this thing, or everybody, you know, nobody's coming to masterminds, or everybody says they want it and they're not doing what I told them, or everybody's showing up on masterminds and not prospecting people or signing anybody up. You know, it's like if we're looking at our business, or even, you know, everybody's telling me they don't have enough money to buy, or everybody's telling me it's a pyramid scheme, or I can't get anybody on a connect call. All of that is beautiful, beautiful information. If we can really take that in and be honest with ourselves, and we can this whole process that we're doing right here, right now together is a personal growth process with a compensation plan wrapped around it. So whenever it starts to feel like, those people, I just don't, all my friends are broke. You just don't understand. It's all my whole community, all my friends are broke, right? It's a mirror. It truly is an opportunity, not a mirror like a direct mirror, but it's an opportunity for us to get information, to learn about how we are showing up in relationship to our experience, how we're showing up in relationship to our community, how we're showing up in relationship to our beliefs and our triggers and our fears and, you know, our inadequacies and our constructed stories about ourselves. And we get to dive in this beautiful way in relationship and community with other people. And if you're courageous enough to really like take a look at what comes up in this process, man, you're going to get a lot more out of this than passive residual income. Let me tell you, it is life-changing. It's so beautiful and so powerful. So let me get back to my 5 income producing activities here. So we have prospecting, presenting, and then closing. Closing is when you first get the oh, Alex, just wait. Just you wait. It's all like this. It's all plant medicine. It's all expanding our consciousness. There's so many different pathways, and yeah. So it's a tool. This is a tool. You guys are all here because you called this in, because you are requesting growth. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Okay. Prospecting, presenting, closing. Closing is when they actually press the complete enrollment button. That the big duplication piece around closing is that just like you're using the tools to get them the information that they need, when you are actually getting them to purchase, don't do it yourself, please. I mean, now with the customer path, there's a little bit more room for that. You know, if it's somebody who's, you know, just wants to be a customer and you've got it pretty dialed and you've been on a lot of connect calls before and you've heard people share the benefits of the different products, and you've heard someone be walked through their own goals and all that stuff. At that point, yeah, sometimes the customer people can be enrolled without a call. But if you have anybody, 2 things. If you're brand new, don't sign up anybody without getting them on the phone or on a Zoom with your upline. Because it is such a valuable learning experience for you to duplicate. If you go ahead and you just do it yourself, again, you're not going to be setting yourself up for what you want. you're going to be setting yourself up for what you don't want, which is like half-baked stuff going on. Nobody knows what's happening. You're just giving them whatever random thing, you know. You want to do this right. You want to get this in your system of how to do this so that it duplicates cleanly to the next generation, right? So please do me a favor. If you have people interested, set them up with an opportunity to speak to someone who's not you, so that you can hear how that happens. Forget about them. I mean, it's important for them, but when I'm doing a connect call, which is a 3-way call for those of you guys who are new, like when I do that triangle of edification, when someone is brought to me to hear about what we're doing, my focus is I never am attached to whether or not that person is going to purchase anything. What I'm attached to is that the person who brought them is learning. For me, it's so much more of the power of that is for the bridge person, the person who's bringing, the person who's interested. So people will say to me, I'm sorry that they didn't buy anything, or I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm happy that you brought me somebody and that you got to hear me say all that stuff, because that's your training. Okay. So leaning in to the connect call, leaning into that tool. And if you're having challenges come up around, oh, this person doesn't want to, that person doesn't want to, get on a call with your upline and let's unwind that. Usually that's, again, it's information about what you're comfortable with, not what they're comfortable with. So really being able to drop in and use that tool and see it as that's your work training. That's your job training. Getting people on calls is what is going to teach you how to do this. And once you learn how to do this, then and only then can you teach other people. So those 3 things that I just explained, prospecting, presenting, and closing, big part of the duplication process, and that's pregame. They buy, that's pregame. It's like all that stuff that just happened is awesome. And now the fun part starts. And the really fun part is plugging them in and helping them build. Sorry, my phone is my computer's beeping at me. It's making all the notifications. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So plugging them in and helping them build. So this is where we get into the community. This is where we're getting into how to leverage this community experience that we have here together to support people to get inspired. Really, for me, it's like this. You're going to have people, okay, raise your hands if this has been an easy process for you. Purium has been 100% easy, 100% of the time. You've never had a question. You've never felt like I want to give up. You've never felt like you wanted to cry. You've never felt like it was too hard. You never felt, right? Okay, so nobody's raising their hands. I can't see anybody on the phone, but I'm just guessing, because you know what? This is just like life. You're going to have hard days. You're going to have days that you feel like you're failing. You're going to have days that your belief is crushed. You're going to have days that you want to quit. I even still have days like that, because that's where I am in my experience of life right now. We're all still in that place that's on some level in our life. So being a part of a community and being able to be inspired by something greater than ourselves is what can support us to get bigger, to move through that experience that might otherwise have just made us be like, it's just, I'm too busy, or my husband's not into this, or, I don't have time, my kids, like whatever it is, right? There's always going to be a million reasons that you can stop and say no. And one of the biggest ways that you're going to be able to be supported to continue to say yes every single time that you might want to say no is by relationship. It's by this connection. It's by what we have here together. It's the blue glue, right? So if you sign somebody up And they're like, yeah, I got a launch pack. I'm so excited. I'm going to get my money back in like 2 weeks. Like I have 1 million people that I'm going to, and like they start to share and they get shot down. The first person, that can be painful. That can be hard, right? I've had that happen. It's part of this process. And it's something that we all get to embrace and grow through. But if someone's really new and they have that experience and they're not getting supported emotionally and they're not in this bigger thing, if they're not coming to the masterminds, if they're just kind of like on an island and they have a hard experience, it's very likely that they're going to get frustrated and they're not invested enough to move through that challenge. Does that make sense? Are you guys feeling me on that? Okay. So we have this really beautiful community that allows us to support lots of people and leverage our time. If I was going to be the one supporting every single person on my team emotionally and be like, oh, it's okay, you can do it. Like, let's just, work on your belief, or, like, let me like show you this video of Dave Sandoval or whatever. Like if it was me running around to 9,000 people being like, blah, 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 I would never, it's just not possible. But you guys are all connected to each other. And that is so beautiful. It's so powerful. And so really being able to imagine this idea of exposures, right? And then I'm going to open it up here, but I just kind of wanted to bring in this last visual of these exposures. So we talk about the 7 exposures when we're talking about prospecting people, sharing with people who are, before they're enrolled, and we start to share with them about the products and the business. And they need a certain number of times of being exposed to what we have before they will be comfortable enough to say yes. It's part of our instinctual mechanism that kept our ancestors alive in new situations, around new foods, around new animals, as they were nomadic peoples, that you don't just go ahead and grab a hold of something brand new. You have to watch and check it out because it could kill you, right? So we still have this mechanism. Everybody that you're talking to is still wired in this way on some level. So we have to give them time. We have to give them time and consistent exposures through social media, through, right, with gentleness, right? So it's like, you're not going to like club them on the head and like drag them away. It's like you're demonstrating, you're showing, hey, this is safe. Like this is something that's really great. And they start to bond to you more. They start to bond to the idea. And eventually they're like, it could be 3 years later. I've been watching you for 3 years. I'm ready for Purium. It happens like all the time. So that consistency, that touch point, that exposure for your prospects is very important. And for your team members, that consistency is equally, if not more important. Okay, so it doesn't just end when they sign up. We have to continue to move people through exposures, to give them love, to plug them in, to celebrate them for something, to invite them to come on the mastermind again if they haven't been on in a while, to track them and to support them to continue to stay plugged in. And this is where I did a little training on this at one of the Diamond Clubs a while ago, that it was like kind of like when you're dating somebody, when you're forming a new relationship with somebody and you just meet them, like let's say you even meet them like on Facebook, or like you meet them through the internet somehow and you're like, oh wow, this person seems so cool. And then you talk to them on the phone, right? That's already starting to deepen your relationship. But then if you meet them in person and maybe you have a date with them, you go out with them, then you're like even more able to experience them on a different level. You're getting more committed. And then, but still, if you like, let's say you have a crisis in your life, something really intense happens. If you've just been like talking to someone on the internet, like on Facebook or like just on the phone with them, and something really intense happens to you, that could easily shift that, right? It could go away pretty fast. If you've been dating them in person, maybe you're going to call on them for support. If you're married and have children with somebody, your willingness to like go through the fire with them because your commitment is deepened to that point is much greater than if you've just like been on the phone with them one time, right? It's the same thing with our community. It's the same thing with our team members. Like, it's thinking about, you're not thinking about trying to date all your team members, obviously, but it's like, how do we support people to become bonded on a deeper level to what we're doing so that they can become more committed? And that is the fuel that helps people move through the resistance and the blocks when those things come up. So really taking the time when somebody is just first enrolled to get them on the phone. Again, like, set up a second meeting with your upline, really, nurturing that relationship, helping them get on the masterminds, like taking that time and seeing them as being in just the beginning of their process rather than at the end of their process because they just bought something, right? Does that make sense, you guys? Cool. All right. So I'm going to, let me see, check my notes here. Okay, perfect. Well, I'm gonna pause there, and I want to open it up because, again, like, this is the culture that we've created. When Ashley was talking about at the very beginning, and she was talking about, like, if you see your upline make a post for somebody, you're already learning how to do that. Well, we have a culture in our community that we've created based on these things that we duplicate that's really different from a lot of other teams, right? Because we're just our own vibe. So we have a lot of really cool things that we do. There's a lot of beautiful ways that we leverage this idea of duplication, and I wanted to open it up to the bigger community to hear from some of you guys. What are things that you've used that have worked? Let's talk more about team members and prospects, although prospecting is fully fair game here. But if you guys want to share any things that you're doing, things that you've noticed have worked really well, things that haven't worked, or things that you wish that you had done differently, I'd love to open it up and hear from you guys where you are in this process of duplication, and just your wisdom. Hey, Zoe.
I want to big up part of our team that's in the flesh right now here. We have Sabrina and Brenda. Sabrina just came on yesterday, was it? And she's with us. Everyone's with us here in Kona. Brenda lives on Oahu, and she's here working with Brian. And Wayne is our friend from Santa Barbara who just got in from Thailand, and he's decompressing from Thailand in Hawaii. What an awesome life, right? And I just wanted to acknowledge you, Sarah, as our leader. You are such a beautiful gift as a friend and a business partner and a beautiful sister. So one of the things that I've really been enjoying with our team is we have a Facebook thread for our team level 5. And I'm loving the way, and Renita and Tracy are on the line too. Hi, guys. So I love the way that everyone uses the thread. As we use it in several ways. We use it, I think Brian's on too. Hey, babe. Just remembering Brian's on the line too. So we use it hey, baby. We use it in a few ways. We use it for updates, for upcoming calls, like we shared this call in that thread this morning. Sometimes Sarah pops in and shares some cool stuff. Other times I'm the only one that's in the Bliss thread, the Bliss frontline thread, because we wanted to keep it a little more streamlined. So I'll take stuff from that thread and then I'll put it in there. Once in a while, I'll share particular key resources and we'll have a discussion about it. We share about just what we're going through, checking in, asking questions. It has been getting quite full in there. And one of the things Wayne had suggested was when you can turn your notifications off, and when there's something that the whole team needs to know about, to reply them. So I don't know if you guys know about that feature, but for those that don't like to get as many notifications and just want to check in every so often, you can select that feature and then just look for your name. And then, just sharing love, welcoming new team members. We don't yet have a team specific group page, but we do have a group page for team plus customers called 40 Days to Awesome that we're using as well, and sharing recipes and different tips and things. So I've been loving the Facebook Messenger thread up until now.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Debbie. And I wanted to just kind of share a little bit of your story here, because it's so beautiful that Debbie is a friend of mine. She actually was the officiant at my wedding. It will be 10 years ago on January 7th. So we're coming up on our big anniversary here. And Debbie was one of the first people that I shared with. She got a pack. She shared one card. He returned his products. And that was kind of the last I heard from her for a while. And up until like a month, maybe 2 months ago, when she reached out to me and she's like, I have someone that wants to sign up for Purium. I've been seeing all the emails coming from the company about the new system. So here was duplication happening. It wasn't me like dripping on her every day, but she was still getting that. And she was still in the group. She was still in the Bliss Ohana group. So she was probably still getting notifications from that. And she was just seeing it. And then suddenly she called me up and she's like, okay, do you have cleanses? Like, I need them tomorrow. Send them to me now to the Big Island. Like, I have people that want to do this. She got super inspired by the new model. And she and her partner, Brian, who's also an amazing influencer, got lit up. I got on the phone with him a few times. They came to an event, which is also a really huge piece of duplication, you guys, is getting your people to an actual event. It's like actually getting on a date with somebody, being in the flesh, like physically connected with people. And there's going to be an event happening in Kauai, February, I think 8th through 11th. I have to finalize that date. We'll be talking more about that in the future, but that is something to look forward to, that we are going to be having an event, a Bliss Ohana event out here in Kauai. So get ready, start saving money. But when Debbie and Brian came to that event, the next month, they went diamond in 1 month. She had never even hit consultant, and then she went diamond. So there can be a long process of people needing to continue to get exposed, and your presence and your consistency on social media of showing up in a loving relationship with your business over a long period of time can reactivate prospects and can reactivate team members who maybe fell off and then but they're still seeing you a year later and they're like, man, I should get back into that. So it's planting a garden. Like, it takes time. It's permaculture. It takes time to develop. There's going to be some stuff that happens fast, and then there's going to be some other stuff that really we have to create a foundation for that deepens over time. So thank you, Ms.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so inspired by what you're saying, Sarah. And I have a new person on the call today, my dear beloved long-term soul sister, Sophia Smith, who's on the call. I don't think she's on Zoom, but I saw her number. So I want to welcome you, Sophia, to this amazing community. And Sophia's been just natural. She's a natural yellow promoter, and she's been turning people on as a customer and is becoming a brand partner today. And I love getting together with Sophia anyway, because we adore each other and we've known each other since our 20s. She's lived on the Big Island, and right now is here in Novato. And so she's enthusiastically sharing this with her friends because she had a great results with the 10-day transformation cleanse. And her sister, who's a doctor with Kaiser, is now having amazing results with the 10-day transformation cleanse. Are you there, Sophia? Do you want to say hi? Can you unmute? Just unmute your iPhone. And if you don't know how to do that, that's okay. We are loving you and sending you love. And this is such an amazing Purium Bliss Ohana happy, healthy lifestyle community. So welcome, Sophia. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
And yeah, I do notice there is a natural progression. We've been bonding. We've been hanging out together. We've been having fun with this. And Sophia, on her own accord, in her own natural genius, is sharing this with her people. Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Deborah. Grace, did you want to share?
Yeah, I'll hop on. One of the things, you might have talked about this in the beginning, I got on a little late. One of the things that I love that we duplicate in Imperium is edification. If you start to notice, at the beginning of a Connect call, we all edify. At the beginning of Bliss Ohana Masterminds, we all edify. And it's something that has really come out into my bigger life, and it's such a powerful tool. So I just wanted to mention that. But for me, when I first got started being a natural leader, there were a lot of things that I wanted to implement that I thought was just going to make the process easier. And I did some of those, and Rachel would always remind me, she was like, I love your ingenuity. I love that you took it upon yourself to do that. And I also want you to just think about, whether you want that to duplicate. So it really, as a parent, I really get the power of duplication. My daughter duplicates everything I say and do. She can actually do a Connect call about the love shake. She has a whole thing with that. And really, just as humans and people, we are really prone to duplication. So just thinking like it's a little bit of this edge, because we want to put systems into place that work for us, and we want to bring our own brilliance and our own ingenuity. And I just wanted to reiterate that piece around just considering that everything that you do will be duplicated. And sometimes what feels like it's a powerful tool in the moment, or that is a powerful tool in the moment that's a new piece that we're bringing in, can essentially over time kind of create like a thug in the cadence, in the rhythm. And it creates a space where our teams can get farther apart from us rather than closer together. So I just want to put that spark, because I'm noticing how many new people are on the line. And I can see that, we have a lot of really brilliant forward thinkers. And I've noticed with some of my people who have been business owners and who are naturally leaders, that it can be a real edge to keep hearing duplication, duplication, duplication. It can feel a little bit like it slows us down, but just to take an out breath and check in with your person and really put that through, put it through, what's your thought around wanting to duplicate it, to create it, and how will it duplicate long term? Because when you get up to crown levels, Sarah has seen how different things play out in the longer scheme of things. And so I just felt, I love the conversation around duplication, because it's just so absolutely crucial and foundational for what we're doing here. And it really, really, truly is what creates residual income. I can have periods of time where, for whatever reason, I'm not plugged in. And my teams, because of this rhythm and this cadence of duplication, they're on it. So don't reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. I don't know if you've already said all of that, but I just think it's important.
No, that was awesome. That was awesome, Grace. And that's kind of that was a little bit of my process when I first got started too, because I was used to doing everything myself. I know how to do things. I've built businesses. I've done this. I've done that. What do you mean do it like that? That doesn't seem that fun to me, or it doesn't seem like that interesting, or whatever. I had my own resistance, and sometimes the more that you've done your own thing, the more powerful you are in your own space in your own life, the harder it can be to kind of humble down and be like, okay, I'm going to use this system. I'm going to plug this person in with my upline, even though I know that I could do the call way better myself, or whatever it is. So thanks, Grace. I appreciate that. And, it's beautiful to witness your growth and the growth of your team, and how, I love what you said too, when we're having a couple days that we're not showing up as strong, if our duplication is on, it doesn't matter, because our team they know how to do it. They're already rising into their own leadership in their own business, and not just waiting for us to do everything for them. So thanks, sister. Anybody else? Any questions about how to do different stuff?
Sarah, Sylvia.
Hi, Sylvia.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Hello. I'm a newbie, so I've been doing this for about 40 something days now, and I just wanted to share my experience with duplication, and for me it's such a relief because I know that it's there. I don't have to think about anything. When I wake up in the morning, I know I get on, I say, who have I contacted this week? I have a little list, and I go through and I send them a little note that says, I've added you to core 3 and I tagged you in a post, and I sent you a video. And if that's all I get done in a day, I know that I've done the process. And when they get back to me for a connect call, it's really great because I'm like, well, I can get Ann on the call or Rachel on the call with me, and I don't have to do the work. So it's, even just as a beginner, it's such a great process to follow the duplication because it's just set out, such a simple system set out. And I just want to encourage newbies to just lean on that because, if you feel overwhelmed, just contact one of your uplines and tell them, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Repeat this process with me again. What is this duplication? And just follow the duplication over and over and over and over. And for me, it's just become a really, I never thought I could run a business myself like this, like just so simply and so easily. So I just want to encourage the new people to just rely on each other, rely on the team, because you guys are truly the most supportive group of people I've ever worked with, ever in my many careers. And not just the support, but the positivity and the encouragement has just been like so consistent, and I really appreciate that. So I want to encourage all the new people to just keep leaning back on your team, because you don't have to work so hard like Sarah is talking about. You don't have to spin your wheels. You can make this a much more pleasant experience and a much more fun. I mean, this is a fun job if we rely on the team. So those are my 2 cents. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sylvia. It's great to have you here. Welcome to our community. And yes, there are so many brand new people, so many new faces. And just to clarify, I wanted to make sure that we're duplicating right into the future. When we have brand new people who join our team, we introduce them on the Bliss Ohana the Bliss Ohana team page with a picture, and we speak to them and say, welcome, Madrone. I'm so excited to introduce you to this team. Like, I'm really excited that you're here. You're going to love being here. This is where the resources are. So we're speaking to that person in front of the group rather than speaking to the group and saying, hey, everybody, I want to introduce my friend Madrone. Stop the party. Stop the DJ. This is Madrone over here. She's really cool. She's joining our team, right? So the way that we introduce people is a nuance. It's an art, right? So if you have a brand new person who comes on the mastermind, it's really beautiful and supportive to that person rather than saying, hey, everybody on the mastermind, I'm going to introduce my person to you right now, right? Come off mute. It's really beautiful to support them in the background and say, I'm super excited you're going to come on this mastermind. I'd love to hear you introduce yourself if you feel called, and to support that person in the background so that they're the ones who step forward on the call and introduce themselves. And there's just a slightly different energetic in that of being able to step forward and stand. Again, it's a leadership position. It's stepping into that space of like, I'm going to introduce myself. So I wanted to create a little space here. If there's anybody who's new and hasn't spoken on a mastermind yet, if you'd like to jump on and introduce yourself, feel more than welcome to do that. We love to meet you and create that space. So I'll give a little second. I see Carissa's finger. There she goes.
Okay, so I figured it out. So I'm new. I'm about 2 weeks in, and I'm really excited. Hi, everybody. So to speak into duplication, for me, it was really I don't know, it was kind of easy because I had a great example from you and then also from Gnome when I've had a couple of friends who have been interested. I know you sent me some videos, you just shared a couple of posts with me and that kind of a thing. So that is what I've done to introduce some people who are interested. And then also then I led into, there's one gal, she's going to look some stuff over and then she'll be ready for a call with my upline or somebody, next week. And so I just kept thinking back. I was like, well, I'm confused. I don't know what I should do right now. Well, what was done when I was introduced? And so that's just kind of what I fell on. And so that's what I'm working with.
Awesome. Beautiful, Carissa. And I tend to do with the people who I'm working more closely with in the beginning is I tell them, call me like every time you ever have a question, that you ever have anything up, just text me or call me or get on the phone with me. Because when I first got started, Tracy like dove in so deep with me. We would talk for like 2 hours a night. She'd only be available at night, like late at night. So I'd be like up on the phone with her like 10 p.m. My kids are asleep and she's like talking to me, not even like training me, but just having them. So I encourage you, if you're brand new, never feel like you're bothering whoever it is that enrolled you by calling. That's how that begins to build, that momentum begins to build.
Okay. Thank you.
Sweet. Well, welcome. Anybody else want to share who's new, who hasn't spoken on a mastermind yet?
Hi. I'm Maddie. Literally just getting started. Like I placed my order for the enrollment a couple days ago and it hasn't even showed up yet. So just getting my feet wet and learning and absorbing and observing to kind of launch as soon as I can kind of gather enough information to step out there and present Purium to the world. And I haven't even honestly tried it myself yet, so I'm excited. Gnome called me and it was just like, yeah, this sounds good. I'll go with Spirit on this and say yes. So it's wonderful to be here in this group and see everyone's faces and enthusiasm. So that's potent in and of itself. So yeah, aloha.
Thanks, Maddie, for being here. Welcome. We have more and more of the divine masculine showing up to our pod here. We've been more heavily weighted to the female, and it's nice to see some strong men coming in and stepping in and stepping it up. So welcome. It's awesome to have you here. And I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Sabrina. I'm from Vancouver Island, and I am really excited. I ran my own business for 15 years and shut it down last year. And I just started diving into internet marketing and health and wellness products myself, and then discovered the awesome Brian and Dev, and yeah, it's just like all unfolding into beautiful ways, and I'm really excited to be a part of Purium. And thank you for your piece on duplication. Because I run my own business, I feel like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can implement this, and often it is, a little easier just to go with the process that you guys have created and to build your team that way. So I appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you, Sabrina. Welcome. And we're a little bit past the end of the time here, but I want to share with you guys one more little piece of our culture, which happens on the first of the month. So tomorrow's the first of the month, and what we do on the first of the month collectively is we create our own business plans and vision plans. So there's like a version of it that it's like a worksheet that you can fill out, or you can take more time and go a little bit deeper and create like a full vision plan. Those are in the files section. And if anybody wants to post that in Bliss Ohana, the link so that it comes up to the top, that'd be great. And so what we do is we all make our order on the first of the month, even if you just ordered at the end of last month, it's nice to make your order on the first of the month, because in order to be activated in the pay plan for the month, you will have to order. So doing it on the first of the month really is this beautiful way to set your intention, to set yourself up in action on the first day of the month. So what we do collectively is post a screenshot of our first of the month order and a screenshot of our vision plan, and post it in Bliss Ohana, and we'll get 50, 60 of these coming through all day long on the first of the month, because everyone's out there standing up and saying, this is what I'm doing, like I'm so excited, I'm committed to this is my vision. And then the trick is to be able to keep looking at that all month, so that by the end of the month you're like, okay, I said I was going to be director this month, like I'm 600 points away, it's the last day of the month, I'm not going to give up, I'm going to do this. And then there's this whole beautiful opening that happens on the last day of the month where things can come through that are very miraculous and very powerful. So look for that tomorrow. I'm really excited to see all of your posts, and I will be doing another giveaway. So if you hashtag December to remember on your post, then I will count it, and I will give something away to one person whose name I pick. So this is something that I kind of brought in culturally to this team a while ago, and it's just really fun, and it's awesome to see everybody's declarations of decision making. So
can I jump in just real quick? I know we got all way over the great call, and this topic of duplication, and you and Tracy have definitely my go-to girls, and I love you for that. And I feel one thing I've just really witnessed with the words duplication externally from what we're doing, and internally with the business, what we understand within our organization what duplication is. But I just wanted to quickly bring this in. There's a girl that Sarah and I went to massage school, and she's kind of just been reaching out to me a little bit, and she's been following us, but she's been seeing things like Facebook Lives and different stuff on Facebook. And one thing that she had sort of brought up was, she was interested in making money and stuff, but she really emphasized that I don't want to do what everyone else is doing, like Facebook Lives and stuff. So there's this other sort of thought of duplication in the outside world. So I just wanted to, bring that in. And, when someone is watching us, and it comes back to that art of listening. And so I had to get a little deeper with her and ask some questions and let her know that she doesn't have to do all that. And it really is simple. The sharing process is way simple, and people don't have to do those kind of things. So that's the beautiful thing. I mean, we're evolving, and different things we're duplicating, but just getting to know what people are really watching. And, once that opening comes in and they know that they don't have to do those kind of things, the Facebook Lives and stuff, if they don't want to. And it's definitely easy process sharing the IPAs. So I just want to bring that in. Great call, Sarah. And I love you, honey. You've always been my rock sister. So thank you.
Oh, thanks, Bex. Yeah, I love you too so much. It's amazing to see how many people that I'm working closely with in my business I've known for over 10 years and wasn't really in touch with too much until they became part of Purium. So it's really, it's a treasure like that to reconnect with old people, old friends, old community members, and then also to have such a fresh new wave of connection and friends. So thanks everybody. Go out there, make today an amazing day, last day of the month. I know a bunch of you are really digging deep and moving mountains and getting inspired and bigger than your blocks to go through and make stuff happen today. So if you need anything, give me a call. I have a bunch of stuff set up, but you can always reach out, text, and I'm here. Love you guys. Aloha.